Evening and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike here with Alex, coming to you from GreenDragonCVR in Woodbridge, Ontario to talk about video games. How's it going, buddy?
Oh yeah, it's good, man. It's pretty good. How about you?
Same old. Playing a bit of Tears of the Kingdom, bit of V-Rising. Trying to play Final Fantasy.
Trying to play Final Fantasy 16. Yeah.
Actually, I don't like it.
I have been successfully playing it. I think I'm about 75% of the way through, and I'll probably push through the end. But yeah, it's... We'll call it a mixed bag for now without getting too further into it. I mean, you probably hate it, but...
I don't like it very much.
You don't like it very much at all? All right. Things have changed since we last spoke about it anyway.
I still didn't like it last time, fuck.
Yeah, that's true. I think like 2 weeks ago we were really hyped, and once we got our hands on it, we're like, yeah, this is sick. And
it was
then
about 2 days after I jumped into it that
took a weird sharp turn. And for me, it just kind of slogged on, and I kind of became disinterested towards the end of it. So we'll see how the last quarter of it ends up being. But
I still like it in terms of its art and mechanics and the things that I suppose you could like after playing it for an hour.
Yeah, there's definitely, redeeming things, good things about it.
Something that you got to see if you're into the medium, but
yeah,
it's not... it's pop cultural, I think. It's not literature. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
It doesn't quite reach the highs I think we expected a Final Fantasy 2, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a Marvel game.
It's a Marvel fantasy.
Yeah, Marvel fantasy. That's right.
I don't like.
It really, though, makes me want to play the other Final Fantasies. I have installed on my PlayStation 15? Right now. I have like 8, 9, 12, 15 installed. I'm deciding what to bust.
I have been definitely on a Final Fantasy kick since last year. Played through 1 to 4 pixel remaster, so now I'm on 5. And I would like to carry that on and get up to where I've already beaten some of them, right? Like 7 or whatever. Yeah. We'll see. Keep going. So it's a goal with
Final Fantasy. It's most of the time, anyways. The games have this, like, they exemplify like the best parts of, fantasy as a literary genre. The idea that you present, like Tolkien says, aspects of primary reality in these strange and arresting fucking outward guises, so that it's easier for people to perceive the real content of the thing, right? That's what it has over realism. And in Final Fantasy, there's always this cosmic drama of how people relate to the universe, and there's like some disruption to the order of being, and the characters have to fix it and stuff, right?
Yeah,
It's a universality to their plots, like it's a characteristic of good epics, and it's easy to love them for that reason, and I think probably, like we discussed last week, the reason I don't like the new one is because it departs from that formula, but...
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It really makes you want to play the old ones, right?
Fair enough, yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. But we're here to talk about something else today, I guess.
Yes.
It's the fact that...
Some drama going on in the industry.
Some more Game Pass drama. To do with the fucking Activision buyout or whatever the fuck it's called, eh? What's it called? The merger?
The Monopoly Gaming Edition.
Yeah.
Microsoft buying... What the fuck are they buying? Honestly, I can't even remember.
Activision
and Blizzard. And they already own Bethesda. Like, it's... Oh my god, it's crazy what's going on now.
That's right.
Take it away.
Was making headlines that Sony's... Who is this, Jim Ryan?
This is Jim Ryan. That's literally their chief of executive whatever.
Yeah, he said what... I mean, we've been saying this since we heard about Xbox Game Pass. Mark Kerning over here, eh? Mark Kern also said this, by the way. Mark Kern also said this recently, interestingly enough. But word on the street is, man, publishers hate Game Pass. Are you surprised?
I would not be surprised, yes. If that is true, which I think it probably is for the most part, I would say yes. I think definitely. How could you, let's say even just quickly, like me and you make a game. Maybe we'd actually be the best people for it because we would get exposure at being an unknown studio, but at the same time, whatever exposure you got wouldn't have led to many sales, right? Whereas if you took a chance and just released it, and if people liked it anyway, it was a good fucking game, you would get the sales from it. So I could see both sides, but ultimately I don't think I would gamble on Game Pass.
No, I mean...
Because you're fucked. Even if you get success and, like, it's popular, then you're fucked. Like, everyone's playing it for free.
Nah, man.
You get a cut from Microsoft, but who knows what that's like.
Bro, it sounds like some kind of, like, fucking universal basic income ass shit. I'm not...
Yeah, exactly, right? They're like, hey, this is our platform, you want in, all right, but, like, we decide how much we're going to kick back,
irrespective of any fucking actual sales. No, like, I'm not interested, man. Why don't you make a good game?
How does it work, honestly? Do they cut you a deal and say, like, we're going to pay you,
I think the details. It has
$10,000.
It's
Let's
been
say,
revealed
right?
are different for each
Different for each
game.
publisher,
Yeah, they
of
probably
course, each game,
subsidize
whatever.
They probably say in exchange for you releasing on the service, we'll give you a lump sum up front. But even if the money was extraordinary, I think the real problem though, like Ryan says, he describes the problem as Game Pass is value destructive. He says right here to publishers, what it does is it reduces and I'm not here to talk about fucking the validity of something like a free market or whether or not price should be based on fucking psychological concerns. But at the end of the day, that's the situation we do live within, right?
Yeah.
Fucking the availability of something at a lower cost impedes your ability to sell it at the fucking previous market value. This is not
that's
fucking
that's
crazy
like
idea.
Basic, yeah.
Whatever the fuck it is, basic. It's a basic observation about the world we live in.
Yes, fair.
You find it cheaper somewhere else, you're not going to be willing to pay as much for it here.
Exactly.
And given that there's already a disproportion between the budgets of video games and the price they're sold for.
Oh, exactly. Right. That's like a big part of the problem here, right?
It is for sure. I do think but I think this is another practical consideration, and the real strength of this fucking idea lies in the fact that there should be such a thing in the universe as commutative justice, right? There should be an exchange between the person receiving the good and the person making it that's proportional. It can't be that in advance you assign a fucking set price for what you're going to receive. It's just not fucking how it works to participate in commutative justice, right? The exchange takes for granted the thing you're receiving, and what you're giving for it is relative to that thing. So the idea that you could sit here and assign some fucking price in advance for the consumption of such things as artworks is fucking problematic at this level alone, right? Insofar as we take that as a fucking rule for the exchange of goods and services between two people, it's just wrong, right?
Yeah,
he says it's value destructive, and that's fucking true, because it implies there's no such thing as value outside of fucking.
I feel like I've never thought about this until now, but it forces you as a creator to sort of sell your product over to whatever they agree to pay you, and then they just sort of obviously reaping in the profits from Game Pass, but it's almost like they are effectively monopolizing your product, and whatever whatever people subscribe to the service because you good job, you get thumbs up, you did it, you made a good game, but like, here, we paid you $100,000 for it, fuck off and leave us alone, right?
It may be that they do even get money when somebody buys it after the Game Pass.
Well, you
release.
but you'd have to release it on other platforms, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to be developing for other, which, I mean, this is where it gets like complicated, and it's like we're kind of just shooting fish in a barrel a little bit, but like,
nobody's going to buy a game on Xbox
at the end
on
of the
Game
day,
Pass. That's the idea, right? So releasing on the platform,
you have to release on other platforms too, right?
It's value destructive in the sense that it destroys the idea of a proportional exchange between the person making the fucking game and the person paying for it, right? Instead, it suggests that the player should be entitled to the fucking thing for a set price, irrespective of the work that actually goes into producing it or what it's actually worth in an objective sense. So this is fucking ridiculous. It's value destructive in this sense.
Yeah, it absolutely devalues games.
It's not interested in paying what the fucking thing is objectively worth. It's interested in shackling what needs to be made to some fucking set price in advance, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about this at length fucking for years, man. But the real problem with this is that, even though in a fucking technical sense it's true that your idea fucking determines the matter you impose it on, like you're fucking sculpting a fucking sculpture, it's your fucking idea that's determining the matter. It's not the other way around. But of course, you can't sculpt the fucking sculpture out of a glass of water or some shit, right? Like the fucking matter, it needs to be receptive of your idea. And in this case, I think what fucking things like this do is they impede the receptivity of the matter to people's good ideas. Like, it fucking limits what you can make because you already know in advance you're going to be selling it for a determinate price.
Yeah.
The idea of fucking making something for an extraordinary budget now fucking becomes out of the question because you're going to fucking get the same recompense for it you would as if it costed half as much, right? So
yeah, you're sort of capped right off the bat.
The means are limited by this, right? The means you would use to express your idea. It imposes an intrinsic limit on the kind of fucking way you can express your concept. So certain games are out of the question right off the bat,
especially nowadays where so many games are being released. Or like, you've been playing V Rising. That game came out in early access, right?
It did.
Usually we don't fucking touch any games in early access, but you've been having a good experience.
I played a bunch, 2 now.
And they need people to buy and play the game because they need fucking money so they can keep. They're still developing it, right?
Like, man, the games I played in early access so far, like V Rising and Valheim, fuck. I played both of those for over 300 hours each.
Yeah.
I never played a fucking full price game for that.
And yeah, and you only paid a set price,
you pay
and
$20
yeah.
for both of them. It's fucking ridiculous. And they're not even done, man. They're not going to be done for like 2 years.
How can you survive off of it's
I don't know.
It's a mess.
That to me is an honest fucking model, though. It's not.
Oh, that you actually pay up front.
I paid for the fucking game,
and then they release expansions. You pay for expansions, but
even
they're
if
like
they never released anything. It's fucking huge, man. These games are massive. They're fucking full games. Like, there's no way you're playing either of those for less than, they're fucking amazing and huge games. And I think probably, even if you can get them on subscription service somewhere, the fact of the matter is, like, they can fucking continue to work at them because they expect a proportional price in exchange for their goods or services, right?
There's a similar thing going on right now in the FPS scene where this game, I don't remember if I mentioned it to you. It's called Battle Bit Remastered or something. Basically, these like two dudes made what is essentially it's like a Battlefield game, like a full-on Battlefield game with like Minecraft style graphics, but like full like 64 versus 64 or 32 versus 32, whatever it is, big battles with tanks and helicopters, and like it's a full-on FPS with terrible graphics, and it's like topping it has more players on Steam than AAA games that cost millions of dollars to make, like Battlefield 2042, the newest release, probably has like 5,000 people playing it, and there's like 30,000 people playing this stupid like Battlefield clone with literal fucking block graphics. But it's fun, like, and it's a well designed like version of that game, right? I don't know how to put it, but basically AAA studios are fucked, and they have no idea what people want, and all they care about is nickel and diming you. And anyway, that's where we're getting with that. The studio,
it's bizarre.
The industry sucks.
The industry does suck.
Game Pass is no different. It sucks too. It's just,
it does suck. It's the most industry-esque thing that there is, I guess, right?
We just want you paying monthly. They got you subscribed, and they just fucking vomit whatever they can on there. And it's all good.
Trash games, waste games.
Yeah.
I just, Yeah, we talked about this before too. It's not like there's a good guy in this situation, but there is a sense in which, I don't know. I expressed this before too, but it feels like Japanese culture is sort of a fucking inhibitor against the worst tendencies of late stage capitalism.
Which is funny because they still have like bleeding fucking corporations.
They have
look how big
too.
fucking Square Enix and even doubt. Sony, of course.
No doubt.
Big fucking publicly traded corporations that. Yeah. You still kind of at least get a bit of a glance of
they still
hope from them. They still seem to have some kind of integrity, right?
Japanese developers still seem to believe in the reality of the thing they create, and not its reduction to some profit.
I think that maybe just like the citizens, the people are humble enough to at least try and force that through to the top, even if the corporation doesn't want to.
I think it has
Who knows,
a lot to
whatever
do with that,
the particulars are, but
even the fucking, a lot of this, I believe, is to do with underlying views of reality and human nature that we in the West take for granted, and
that's very
though we
possible
participate
too.
in the same economic structure, it's not necessarily that we share views of the world that lead to these
that's very
idiot
true.
Ideas in economy and art and elsewhere, right?
Absolutely.
So reading through this, like, whatever Ryan there feels about other stuff, like, it is clear to me anyways, and it's something we talked about for years, that of course fucking subscription distribution is value destructive, and the reason why we should care about this at all is not because we want any company to succeed. It's because if we fucking compromise the material basis something needs to be made, we compromise what can be made with it, right?
Exactly.
You can't fucking sculpt a statue out of a glass of water.
Nobody's
you know what I mean?
Making Death Stranding for Game Pass. And
if making Elden Ring for Game Pass
is very true. I think pretty much our last point is there was a rebuttal from who is this? Some guy who is the head of this Football Manager game.
The fuck is Football Manager?
Football Manager, it's like a FIFA simulation game where you sort of play like manager mode, and you don't actually play the soccer itself. You just like manage the team, buy players, sell players, like a
fake joke game.
A what?
A fake joke game.
It's a simulator. There's tons of those now. Everything's about simulating.
Of course, they got this guy to talk up, eh? I never really made anything that's even close to a game, but let me tell you what I think about it.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, okay, I understand. I don't.
Sports interactive.
I don't even know where to go with this one, to be honest. I almost have no words. Like, a guy making Football Simulator 2023 says, Game Pass is good.
I think because these guys make exactly the kind of junk non-games that we're saying belong on such a service in the first place.
I want to know how many people actually play Football Manager.
Probably the same amount of people that do crack cocaine. Doesn't make it fucking quality.
It doesn't make it okay. Football Manager Touch for Apple Arcade. Ooh.
It would lead many to believe that Game Pass is profitable for the right games, i.e. for crap nonsense games.
Indeed, for the right games. See, the right games,
Yeah,
right
for your
here.
Rocket Leagues and your
right
Football
here.
Managers.
That's exactly
Okay.
they're like,
All
yes, the right games, the ones we have that you want to play and spend
Listen,
all your money in our stores.
this at
That's what
least.
the fuck they're talking about.
I don't disagree that Football
Pricks.
Manager belongs on Game Pass.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Right next to Grounded and Sea of Thieves.
I
Fucking-
wouldn't play it if I had to buy it, and I certainly wouldn't play it for free on
I
Game
wouldn't play
Pass.
it
But,
if you paid me. I wouldn't play it if you threatened me.
obviously,
you know?
somebody out there is,
Football
in
Manager.
fact, playing it for free. I don't know.
Of all the things you can manage in a video game, you can manage Jurassic Park, a Fantasy Kingdom. In any case, it's probably enough for now.
It's gonna do it for us.
The value destructive nature of subscription distribution. Yeah, because
what
it
it
compromises fucking the matter, the fucking resources somebody has to make a game with, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Just
That's it.
here's this chunk, and that's make the game. Here you go.
Yeah.
Right.
And even theoretically, it doesn't seem just.
Yeah. Also that
Compensation
Well, it's
needs
like
to be
they're stealing.
proportional.
I mean, without saying, "Hey, we own your fucking game." It's like, "Hey, we own your game." Like, it's like, you know.
Welcome to the harem.
Fuck's sakes.
Now spread those cheeks.
Microsoft. God damn.
Right, by the way, we need you to get to work on the next fucking Gears of Fable Wars.
Gears of Fable Wars.
Gears of Forza.
Gears of Fable Motorsports. Which one? I don't know. Just make it.
Anyways, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Play your games.
Oh yeah.